Good morning. Welcome back to my channel on this beautiful April 20th, 2016. It's a little bit after 10. I want to talk about numerology. It's not one of my favorite subjects, but I feel that a lot of us are missing important information about what these man-made events are. And I figured out the Ecuador earthquake, which after I go through all this, I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. I want to touch up on some key numbers that are used a lot by the wicked people and by the Illuminati, because these are numbers that play into part on a lot of these man-made disasters that are happening around the world. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you exactly how to know if these events were pre-planned or if these events are just simply naturally done. There are key numbers that you need to look for. So let's get started. All these articles that I'm looking at, I will definitely post them underneath the description box, and that way you can take a look at them. I'm not going to go into every single article because I want to try to make this video short and straight to the point, but I will put the links on the description box so that you can take a look at and you can do your own research. As always, I always tell people to do your own research. Don't go by what I say, and inform yourself. Truth is out there. It's still available. And with the truth, you can figure out a lot of things, just like it took me some time to figure it out. But now I'm here, and I can teach other people how to figure it out. Okay? So let's start with Article 1, that's called The Occult Numerology of the World Events. It was dated April 27, 2010, so 2010. So I'm going to go down here where it says, watch for the NWO, which stands for New World Order, engineering events, terrorist attacks, serial killings, special events, assignations, etc. They will have some of these numerical associations. They are odd numbers, of course: 3, 7, 9, 21, 33, 39, 93, 666, and 777. The master magic number of 11 and 13. Multiplies of 7, 11, and 13. Inverted numbers like 31 and 93. Okay, so it says, what it speaks about number 3. It says number 3 is the first sacred number. It is a perfect number representing the pagan trinity. It geometrically represents the triangle, the pyramid, and spirituality, the third eye. Sacred numbers are intensified when grouped by threes and threes, like 33. It is very powerful number to occultism. They are 33 degrees of Freemason, which symbolize the Kundalini or serpent force, which is directed up the 33 sections of the vertebrae to achieve Illuminati or illumination. 666 is achieved when 3 groups of 3 are added together, like 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 equals 666. The number 5. 5 represents female energy. There are 5 days in the woman's fertility cycle. 5 is represented geometrically as the pentagram, Isis divided divine portion. The number 6. 6 represents male energy, the soul of man, and the microcosm of God. 6 is represented geometrically as the hexagram. Number 7. 7 is a sacred number and the number of perfection or perfect man. No such thing, but it sounds appealing. The biblical number of the mark of Cain. Multiplication of 7. Perfect 3 times 7 equals 21. Black Jacob, the devil. The Mossad London bombing was on 7/77. Number 9. 9 is a sacred and the cube of 3. 999 is 666 inverted. 9 represents man in an ego-bound state, as 9 multiplied by any number always comes back to 9. 9 times 7, 63. 6 plus 3 equals 9. Number 11. 11 is the master number. 10 is the perfect number. Parentheses, God. And 11 represents God being exceeding. 11 should not be broken down as it is a master vibration. However, when broken down, 1 plus 2 is represented the 2 of duality. 11 can represent sin, transgression, and peril. The number 11 is the essence of all that is sinful, harmful, and imperfect. So now we see what basically happened on 9/11, imperfection. So, out with the old, in with the new. 11 is the combination of the pentagram, 5, and the hexagram, 6, the male and female, the union of opposites. Number 13. 13 is a sacred number. 13 represents death and rebirth. 13 can also represent rebellion against God authority. 13 is a very important number to the Jew brotherhood and was not intended to be used by the profane. Hence, the superstition surrounding 13, they are thought it's our number. It's not for your geogym. Number 33, a magical number, the perfect 3 multiplied by the master 11. There are 33 strands to DNA, 33 vertebrae in the spine, representing full ascension of the Kundalini serpent force. Number 39, the perfect 3 multiplied by the sacred 13. 39 is an anagram for 93, the literal number of magic itself. Number 77, the sacred 7 multiplied by the master 11, the number of the biblical revenge of Lamech. The children of Lamech are the alleged builders of the temple in Atlantis, and Lamech lived 777 years. Multiplies of numbers imply and strengthen the ritual and its desired effect. Occultism add numbers individually, except 11 always stays 11. Every letter of the alphabet represents a corresponding number in the Pythagorean table. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, and so on. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the World War I armistice was signed, thus ending the war. Kennedy-Cuban Missile speech was on 10/22/1962. The Cuban Missile Crisis lasted 13 days in October, and Kennedy was killed 13 months to the day of his speech. Kennedy was killed on the 33 parallel on 11/22 at 12:22. See the article, The Killing of the King, right, for in-depth analysis. And then it goes on to speak about other things that took place on 11 or on 9/11, which I'm not going to go into. This article I will be posting in the description box. Next article. The next article is called the Illuminati Freemason Signature, and it was updated on 11/30/2001. It says, in my research regarding the Freemasons, United States presidents, and Masonic power structure, I was constantly run into the numbers 13 and 33. This research is confirmed that most of the founding fathers were Masons. It also confirms that most of the presidents were Masons. My first run with the 13, of course, was the 13 colonies. Second was the Great Seal. It says, the number 7, 3, 9, 11, 13, 33, and 39, any multiply of these numbers have special meanings to the Illuminati. Notice that the Bilderberg group has core of 39 members who are broken into 3 groups of 13 members in each group. Notice that the core of 39 answers to the 13 who makes up the policy committee. Take special note that the 13 members of the policy committee answer to the round table of 9. You may know that the original number of state in the United States of America was 13. The Constitution has 7 articles and was signed by 39 members of the Constitutional Convention. Occultists, the world are believe that once a symbol is created, it acquires power of its own, and more power is generated when such symbols are created without the profane knowing about it. And the greatest power of all is created in the symbol. If the uninitiated never discovers that the symbol exists. There are 13 leaves on the left olive branch with 13 berries, 13 stripes on the middle shield, 13 arrows on the right, 13 stars above the eagle's head, 13 letters in the E pluribus unum on the ribbon, 13 letters in Annuit Coeptis. There are 13 blocks top to bottom on the pyramid. Prince Springmere is the 13 bloodline, says these 13 blocks representing the 13 satanic families. 13 can be seen in the dollar bill and also in the United States seal, which they want you to believe that it's an eagle when in reality it's actually a phoenix. If we go down a little bit, it says, the highest degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemason, the meritorious degree, the degree of the Illuminati, whose motto is order of chaos, or out of chaos comes order, which literally means if they break down the existing structure and cause the population to cry out for order, they will emerge as the rulers and will have the world that they seek. It says May 13, 1914, Fatima Vision. May 13, 1941, Stallion divine Russia into 7 districts in preparation for war. May 13, 1981, Pope attempts assassination. May 13, 2000, third secret partially revealed related to the Pope shooting on May 13, 1981. May 13, 2000, Pope alludes to the beast rising out of the sea in Revelation. The beast has 7 heads. May 13, 2000, Putin divides Russia into 7 districts in preparation for. The Cuban Missile Crisis lasted 13 days, which suggests a ploy or fake crisis. The upcoming movie is even entitled 13 Days. Many movies have the number 13 in their title. 13 Frightened Girls, 1963, 13 East Street, 1952, 13 Floors, 1991, 13 West Street, 1962, 13 Fighting Men, 1960, 13 Ghosts, 1960, and a remake of the movie is in process at the time that this article was updated. Lead Soldiers, 1948, 13 Men and a Gun, 1938, Apollo 13, 1995, 6 Days and 7 Nights with Harrison Ford, 6 plus 7 equals 13. We even have a rating for movies PG-13. So you can see the 13 number. It's a very sacred number, and it's not one number that we, the population, is supposed to use. It says, going down here, 33-degree Masons are the receivers. In other words, the 33 are bringing back the old estate-men, Egypt, Isis, Osiris, Ra, Satan, one world religion, Sept, Tepi. Sept, Tepi was not corrupt golden age of incarnate demons which the Egyptian mystery religion represents and continues to represent. It is an ancient, violent, and immoral world which developed before the flood, which New Age spirit guides are seeking to reestablish. They are seeking to reestablish this age under globalism to be ruled once again by 13 Satan New Testament Antichrist. As you can see, they're trying to get rid of all the old and replace them with the new. So out with the old, in with the new. This is what the New World Order represents. If you do not know anything about occult numerology, unfortunately, you're going to miss out on the signatures that are going to be placed in a lot of the major catastrophes that we will face, which are man-made. It says in 1997, Diana and Dobie Fade died when a Mercedes provided by Mr. Al-Fade and driven by his employee, Henry Paul, plugged into the 13th pillar in the Alma Turner in Paris on August 31st, 1997. One example relevant to our study is the explosion of the Apollo 13 spacecraft named Aquarius, which occurs at 1:13 in the afternoon, 1313 military time, on April 13, 1970. Mars Pathfinder landing site, 19.5 degrees north by 33.3 degrees west, July 4th, 1997. As you can see, the number 33 comes to play a big role in a lot of these signature callings, which are the signatures of the Illuminati and the Freemasons. I'm not going to read the rest. You can read that on your own. Moving on to the next article. It talks about the number 4. And I'm not going to read the whole article, but you can look at it yourself. I'm only going to read this part because it's going to play a key role in what I am about to show you at the end of the video. It talks about the number 4, and it speaks about the different characteristics of the number 4 and the negativities of the number 4. But I'm only going to focus on one area. It says the number 4 is the number of fate. So it must be remembered that there will be many things that happen over which you have no control over. And that I'm going to remind you guys after that at the end of the video when I show you what I want to show you about the Ecuador earthquake and how you can tell that it was a Illuminati signature call and it was Illuminati man-made by heart. Now going over this or the article, it practically says the same thing that I spoke about in the occult numerology event, although it goes a little bit into more details of what the 6 sacred numbers are. And it also goes into details on occult signature to current events. Now, I'm going to read that because that plays an important role on what I'm going to show you. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated on November 22, 1963, in Public Square, which had been home to a Masonic lodge and which has an obelisk in the center. November is the month 11, and the day of the murder was the 22nd. Number 11 and 22nd are sacred primary occult numbers. President Ronald Reagan was nearly assassinated on March 30, 1981 at 3:30 p.m. March is the 3rd month, first 3, and 3:30 p.m. provides the other 2 3s, 33, producing a 333. Reagan was not the New World Order candidate. George Bush was their candidate. Had Reagan been killed, Bush would have assumed the presidency at the planned moment in history, as it was Reagan's policy continually turned to the center and to the left until he was clearly enabling the New World Order to proceed full speed ahead. As we can see, back in 1981, they wanted to establish the New World Order, but as you also will see in history, it wasn't possible. But George Bush was the vice president at that time of Ronald Reagan. So they tried an attempt on Ronald Reagan because Ronald Reagan wasn't going along with the agenda, and he wasn't really for the agenda. I believe Ronald Reagan didn't want the New World Order to be in full swing back then. So he opposed it every way he could by sometimes moving things left and right and avoiding things. It says, At the close of business on April 29, 1992, the Dow Jones average closed at 3,333. Gold also closed at 337 an ounce. Therefore, at the opening bell on April 30th, the Dow Jones average began business at 3,333 and gold began at 337 per ounce. Do you see that we have three sets of 33 here? Remember, the number 666 is very often hidden within numbers 33, space 33, space 33. Occultists throughout the world would interpret the data as representing 666 as the world began to pass through the 666-day period. So as you can see, sets of 33, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus another set of 33, 3 plus 3 is 6, and another set of 33, 3 plus 3 is 6. It equals 666 when you put them together. So this is how these people call the shots, and this is how these people communicate. They do not communicate in words like you and me. They communicate in numbers, and they communicate in colors. So basically what you and I will see as something normal, 333 deaths, 360 deaths, these are not normal numbers for them. These are signature calls. They're portraying a message, and it is very important to understand that. It says, from April 30th to July 4th, 1992, an article in the Sun Chronicle on May 3rd, 1992 reported that the stock market was overvalued by 66%. Events on this critical date abound in 3s and 6s. So as you can see, how odd can it be? 66% when there are exactly 66 days between April 30th and July 4th. So as you can see, this is another calling card. This is another message. April 30th to May 1st is a satanic 2-day celebration called Beltane. In 1976, the United States of America issued her Declaration of Independence precisely 66 days after the beginning of Beltane that year. Adam Weishaupt declared his master of the Illuminati at the second day of Beltane. Thus, both the founding of the Satanic Master of the Illuminati and the United States were centered around Beltane. The 4th of July is not really Independence Day, 1976. It's actually the creation of the Illuminati. They want to celebrate it as the United States became independent, but in reality, it's not what it's meant for. And while the masses are being fooled into thinking that the United States became independent in 1776, on July 4th, they are performing their ritual satanic things that they do. Because in reality, the United States is not independent. The United States is actually a corporation owned by the British government. Queen Elizabeth calls the shots here. She was the one that implemented the Social Security Act, and she actually lives off of that. That's how they have become very rich. So when you think about celebrating the 4th of July, think of what it really means, because it doesn't mean independence. You're actually celebrating the formation of the Illuminati coming into place and coming into light. Okay, so that's the rebirth of the Illuminati and Freemasons joining together on a ritualistic satanic holiday of theirs. Now, since we've covered all of this, I now want to show you what happened on Ecuador on April 20th. Actually, this article is dated April 20th, but I believe that it took place on the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. You can correct me on that. But anyway, it says here, Ecuador's earthquake is going to take us years to recover. This article is CNN. CNN's fear-mongering, obviously. Illuminati calling card for them to speak to one another based on numbers and colors. This article is dated April 20th, which is today, 2016. And it says here Crews race to find survivors buried in the rubble in Ecuador's 6:57. So, it says here, the powerful earthquake that killed more than 480 people in Ecuador is the worst disaster the country has faced in decades, a top official said Tuesday. It's the worst tragedy in 60 years. Defense Minister Ricardo Patino said, "We are facing the most difficult phase right now, which is rescuing victims and recovering bodies." The Military of Security Risk Management Agency released a statement updating the death toll from Saturday magnitude 7.8 earthquake. It now stands at least 480 with more than 4,000 injured. Now, the calling card is right here in plain sight. But if you do not know numerology and occult numerology, so you're not going to be able to get it. But if you really look at 480 and add it up, it adds up 4 plus 8 plus 0. It actually adds up to 12. You take 12 and you add it up. 1 plus 2 equals 3. You got your 3 calling signature, as we already know that 3 is the first sacred number, the place of perfection, okay? So it's a number of perfection. So that's your first calling card number of how many people were dead. So they have perfected on whatever agenda they had. They have perfected on the goal. So that means they surpassed the goal of what their intended goal was. Their intended goal could have been 100 people or 200 people, but they have surpassed it because it has a calling card of 3. Then our next calling card is 60 years. 60 years, take away the 0, is 6. As we know from the occult numbers, 6, okay, is a very sacred number to the occult people, okay? 6 is 6 represents male energy, the soul of man, and the macrocosm of the gods. 6 is represented geometrically as the hexagram. So 60 years, and it happened again. So it was 60 years ago that Ecuador had an earthquake of this magnitude. If you take 7.8, which is the magnitude of the earthquake, okay, you add 7 plus 8, it gives you 15, and you take 1 plus 5, it equals 6. There you have your signature number, okay? If you take your 4,000 injured and you add them up, okay, it gives you 4, which we already knew what 4 meant because it says 4 is the number of fate. So it must be remembered that there will be many things that happen over which you have no control. Obviously, the people of Ecuador didn't know how wasn't expecting this, and this was beyond their control. So, but we have, if we added all these numbers, we have 3, 6, 6, and 4. But if you take 4 and add it into 3, it gives you 7, which are the 2 odd numbers that are left, okay? And if we take a look at what the 7 number means, 7 is a sacred number, one of the most sacred of all the numbers, the invisible center, the spirit of everything. So, 7 is a sacred number. So we have 2 6s and 1 7. But keep in mind that 3 is also a sacred number. So is 4. So you don't need to add these 2. But if you choose 2, just to confirm, you will get a 7. And that gives you, okay, the calling card of a sacred number that has been used. All of these sacred numbers are a calling card. Whatever message they want to proclaim or whatever message they want to portray to their fellow craftsmen. If you take 6 and 6 and you add it, it gives you 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3, which is another sacred number. So either way you want to add these numbers, you're still going to get a calling card. So this earthquake was a message sent to the Illuminati that something has been done, whatever that had may been. Could have been a tsunami, could have been an earthquake, could have been a massacre, could have been whatever. This applies to just about everything that they do. This is how they communicate. Not to mention that they always use different colors for different things. If you notice on CNN, it's always blue and red. Sometimes for a ritualistic murder, they will use red or pink. That is all within their calling card. It's really disturbing information if you really think about, because the normal people would never think about communicating in numbers. We have words for communication. But these people can't express themselves in words, because then everybody else will know what their agenda is and what they're doing. So between themselves, they communicate by numbers and by colors. So now you know another secret about the Illuminati and the Freemasons. And now I hope that you can define most of the natural disasters that are so-called happening, which are nothing natural about them. As I said, I'm going to put these articles on the description box. I will also include the Ecuador CNN article so you can look a little bit more into it. And you can pretty much find other numbers that represent signature calls, other numbers that are sacred within the article, that you can definitely know that this is a message being sent to somebody else or a message being sent to a group of people. I hope this video was very informative. I hope that you do your own research, and I hope that you don't allow other people to fool you with their lies and deceivement, because this is what it is. And these people in Ecuador are unfortunate to be not aware of what's going on, and they actually think this is a natural catastrophe when it was actually man-made and done by HARP. We have a machine that's called HARP that manipulates weather, manipulates rain, manipulates tornadoes, manipulates earthquakes, and it's actually a good thing being used for the wrong reasons. And it's a very powerful tool being used for destruction. But then again, they need to destroy the old so they can bring in their new world order with their new rules and their new laws and their new 10 Commandments, which are the Georgia Guidestones. Also, their new laws that will be taken into effect once this whole thing is completed. If you ask yourself, why is this being done? Well, unfortunately, we are being ruled by evil and wicked people. Serpents, demons that have taken over human form and have overpowered real humans and have possessed them. We're also dealing with hybrids. We're also dealing with clones. We're also dealing with non-humans, which are people that are soulless. And these people have an agenda to bring in their God, which is the Antichrist, which is the opposer of the true God, the creator of heaven and earth, the one that made you and me and gave us his laws for us to follow. This is a world that's being controlled by evil and wicked people. And unless that we are awakened to the true agenda being placed right in front of us and playing out, we will be oblivious to many of the things that are to come. So I'm hoping that this will shed some light into a lot of things that are going on, and you can identify the signature and know where it's coming from. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. God bless you, and much love from the island of Puerto Rico. Take care, and until next time with another video. Have a good one.